Did it again with the mic. What's going on, everyone? It is Saturday. It's not Saturday anymore. It's Sunday now because it's midnight. Hold on, I just gotta move my stuff, my camera around. Just chilling, playing some Rage. Well, actually, Rage 2. Let's see if I can get my camera set up right. Hold on. There we go. So, what's everybody up to? Yeah, tried to do it last night with the live stream, and YouTube was acting weird, so I said, screw it. Do it tomorrow. I don't know why YouTube was acting weird, but whatever. Anyways, I'm complaining about Rumble. Let's see here. All these shilling YouTubers talking about like Russell Brand, freaking all the other ones. Yeah. So, anyways, I gotta. I have a thing about Rumble. Like, I really don't like Rumble that much. I seen. I was gonna do Rumble, and I seen what it's about, and I'm like, holy crap! Like, Rumble is shit. Rumble is like watching watching people on Rumble. You can't swear on Rumble. You have to use two apps to actually work with Rumble. Let's see here. And it's not a free speech platform. I hate to say this, but it's not a free speech platform they made it out to be. Like, they the thing is, like, try to word this. They try to make it like, let's see here. They try to make it out to be like it's a good platform, but really, they like what's going on is like they pick favorites too. Like, they take AP, like Adonis Paul's channel. They don't show it to anybody on the front pages, and he had more viewers. And they show Russell Brand, freaking Crowder, Steven Crowder shit. And Crowder, talking about Crowder shit. Crowder is like, I don't know how to say it, but he's not that great. Like, everybody makes it out to be. Like, he's a total shitbag. And it's like, everybody's like, oh, he's such a great freaking channel and shit. But it's like, really? Like, I watch his channels. It's like watching Razor Fist. It's like, holy shit. It's like annoying. He brings up good points. But he also has a stupid ass fucking shit. Like, he's like the, if you took, if you took Sophane and freaking, what you call it? Took Sophane, I don't know what's this, and what the fuck, I think of that singer's name. Pat Benatar. That's what I was thinking of. Put Pat Benatar and if fucking Sophane had a kid, that'd be like Razor Fist right there. Jeez. And then he flips out all the time when everybody picks on him on Twitter. It's like, dude, just get a life, man. Like, I only do YouTube once in a while because it's funny watching all these people. It's funny watching all these people like flip out, like spurg out over on the internet. Oh, let's see here. It, and the annoying part is like, everybody's like so up Razor Fist's ass. It's like, oh, Razor Fist is a cool dude, man. I know what you guys shitting on for. It's like, really? Have you seen his rage out videos? Like, he rages all the time over stupidity. Like, I don't give a shit about his channel. Like, I don't even watch. I used to watch it when it first came out, and like after I found out like what he was about, like he flipped out over a fucking joke about his picture and shit. Like everybody picks on him, and he makes like he's a little bitch. It's like, really, dude, grow up. Like, what are you trying to act like you're five? Seriously? Like Razorfist, grow up. It's like watching Boogie 2988, like a skinny version of Boogie 2988 flipping out. It's freaking. And then the Russell Brand thing that really ticks me off. Like they put him in like the front pages of everything, and he goes says, "Oh, YouTube treats me like shit," but in the meanwhile, he gets like 300, like 500 views, and freaking I don't know what to say. Like he has 500 views, and all he does is fucking talk about the same talking points as like Fox News is. And then he goes, oh, I don't talk to Democrats anymore. I'm like, bullshit. It's all a grift. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. It's all a grift. Trying to get people, stupid people, to go, oh, he's got a point there. Like every shit we've been talking about for years. It's like he like everybody still thinks he's like, oh, he's awesome and shit. It's like, what a joke. Like I seriously don't give a shit about people that try to act conservative and shit. Like I'm a centrist. I look at both sides of the freaking situation. And lately, Republicans and Democrats are kind of a joke. Why I say that? Because they fight all the time. They like fight over stupid shit. It's like watching kids. It's like watching kids on the schoolyard fighting. That's how fucked up Democrats and Republicans are. Like it's like watching It's like watching two kids fight over a toy. It's like seriously, guys need to grow up and stop blaming each other for your own issues. And it's like the Donald Trump thing. Yeah, I think it's stupid that they're trying to do something stupid to fuck up the election, so Biden can get in the lead. But you know what? What good did he do? Like Joe Biden do? Seriously, everybody should ask this question. Like, what good did Joe Biden do? Because he didn't do shit. He fucked over people's for like he fucked over the military by taking away disability, taking away their pension when they retire from the military. And it's like, jeez, people are so like, ooh, he's such a good guy. It's like, yeah, he fucked over the military. How good did he get? Like, I can see, I can see why everything's going on crap, but it's so sad that we live in a country Our own president doesn't give a crap about the people or the troops or anything. He's all about himself. Then when somebody calls that his bullshit, he starts that's how cool, man, for shitting on me. It's like we're gonna shit on you because you're a shit president. Like I don't feel sorry for someone that's like treats people like crap. It's you're just showing everybody that you're in it for the long haul, just to get that money, that retirement money, and it's sad seeing that. It's like watching it's like watching people lose their jobs and shit because this idiot of a president just likes to start shit with everybody. Shit. It, I'm playing Rage, by the way, while I'm talking to you guys. It's it's sad that it's sad watching a country go downhill. It's sad that we have YouTube, Rumble, and all these other social media apps that'll cater to the famous and then shit on all the people that are trying to get famous or trying to make a name of themselves. It's like really, why should we have why should we have this shit? Why should we be on social media that if we're not gonna get recognized by anybody on the social media because they're shadow banning people or they're pushing like the very interesting people down the bottom of the well and propping up these shills that nobody gives a shit about. I can say Fox News is not even that great either for 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 anything for news wise or anything because Fox News is just a joke. They think that Fox News is like always right, but they don't tell you the whole story. Just like these Democrat running shows like NSNBC, CNN, and shit like that. They'll tell you the whole story. They'll tell you a little piece of it so you can see if you could get pissed off and then go and rage and then fight with other people. And then sooner down the line, you're gonna be seeing people wonder why the hell we're getting so pissed off at each other for something that the news is trying to pull out, like chill out. That's not probably not even fully true. It it's a distraction and shit. You get to see all this other crap that's going on, like uh um let's see here, like look at all these the new news and shit about China and shit. Oh no, I was playing a game. I'm playing a game while I'm like talking to you guys because I'm playing Rage too. I just paying attention on Rage too because let's see what the hell's going on. It's sad. Like guys, we're looking at this by the standpoint now. Spittle, it's going downhill our country. like we're like like it's gone to the point where everybody's changing their shit. Night CK. Yeah, so like there's like this new thing that's going on, like we should go to war with China and Russia. Why should we go to war with Russia? No, I mean against Russia. We like China going against China and Russia. It's like why? Why should we ruin our resources because some idiot president wants to start a war? And it's not even, they want to make a World War III. And you know it's gonna be a nuke war if we ever go to war with Russia or against Russia or China, because they got more nukes than us, and it was proven. The only thing that they don't have, China doesn't have, is good soldiers and good vehicles. Their vehicles are shit. Like they got outdated vehicles from back in Korean War. China was so smart they uppering their supplies and everything else, like if they really wanted a war. But the only thing they have that's saving their ass is nukes. Um, let's see here. There is a lot of shit that's going on, and it's like you have to think for yourself. What what are we fighting for? We're not fighting for the freedom. We're not fighting for the Constitution anymore because that is bullshit. We're fighting for the government. That's all it is. So they can feel so happy and so secure in their little shitty ass fucking office. That's all it is. It's just they want us to fight so they can feel safe because they know they're pissing off too many people. So they'll make up a thing saying that we should fight these guys because over stupid reasons. And it's sad. It's sad seeing this shit. And it's what we're gonna do in the next few years. We're gonna be fighting over feelings. That's how it is gonna be in the next few years. It's like watching Will Smith as president. That's basically what freaking Biden is. He's like another Will Smith, freaks out over the stupidest shit because he can't handle criticism from anybody, so he has to like spurg out and start shit with other people. He is the worst president in anybody's lifetime because all he knows how to do is start shit with other people. And then when shit backfires on him, he goes, "Oh, uh, he has to use the what you call it. He has to use the his son Bo Biden shit. It's sad. It's a sad watching an old man use his son as a grift just to keep so everybody can feel sorry for him. Anyways, didn't it, like Bo Biden like died a long time ago? Why the hell like he keeps bringing up his name like every time something goes wrong in his fucking life? It's like, oh, doing this, doing that. It's like, dude, you're bringing up the past so you can have everybody feel sorry for you. It doesn't work with me. Sorry, I hate to say it, but having that he's like he just makes me just want to shake my head and just like what the fuck. And it's funny watching like everybody like pander to him, like the news like pander to him all the time. It's like, oh, he's a good president. How is he a good president? He screwed over a lot of people. How is he a good president? He's like, they're like, oh, he cares about the people. If he cared about the people, why he screwed over so many people, veterans and shit. This month, he like took away their disability, took away their pension, their retirement pension, and it's like you're telling me he's a good president, and he wants people to go to war with over other countries, and he's like, yeah, and the people that he screwed over, he wants people to fight. They're gonna say fuck off and not do it. If you're taking away their disability, their and everything, why do you want to be in that predicament of going to war? It's hilarious. And then people flip out like at me when I point that shit out. Like nobody wants to fight. That's all it is. It's oil workers, money, greed. That's all it is lately. It's all about the oil and money and greed. And nobody wants to point that out. It's like say like the COVID outbreak issue. They try to like cover it up like, oh no, didn't start in a lab. That didn't happen. And then what like a few years later they're like admitting that it came from lab. Like everybody knew it beforehand. And they're like, oh yeah, it's came from lab now. It's like we already know this shit. We were talking about this shit like a while back, and now you're admitting it. Kind of late there. But if we point that out, it's gonna be like we're racist or homophobic or anti-Semite or some stupid shit that they come up with every time somebody points it out that they're wrong at something. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. It's just controlling language, controlling people. I feel sorry for who whoever has to deal with the the next war. Well, this war, if war actually happens, who's going to deal with that shit? Because it's going to be to the point where everybody's going to flip out and not be with any want to hang out with anybody anymore. Because we got we got trust issues, and and I feel bad for the people that are in this country. It's the thing is like it's coming down to the point where we're gonna have like homeless people roaming the streets fighting the government. It's not gonna be now, but at some point it's gonna happen, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, why did that happen?" Well, what do you think? Got people fucking. Sorry, swearing like crazy. The thing is, like, people are trying to fight to survive. It's not like back in the day where you could thrive on living. It's going to that point where everybody's losing money. The stock market broke, and we're gonna have this issue where we're gonna have people going nuts because there's no money left in the system. Like everybody thought, like it was gonna be uh like let me see here, trying to figure this out, like break it down. They thought it was gonna be like an easy win when they were like, oh, nothing's gonna happen to us. There's gonna be it's gonna be like everything's gonna change for the best. And then like a couple of years down the line, we're already at we're like stores are closing down. Um, we're at like the break of war with Russia and China. The homeless population's rising. There's a like, there's a zombie outbreak in some place, or there's a new plague. It's like we're at like we're almost at the apocalypse at this point because nobody wants to mention that the not the zombie virus shit that they found in some like wasteland. I thought that was funny. It's like, how do you find a zombie virus in some Iceland? It's kind of sketchy right there when you hear that. It's like, oh, we found the zombie virus in such and such. It's like, well, you kind of just screwed everybody over on that deal because you just admit there's a zombie virus still out there that could affect people some way, some shape or form. And it's hilarious when shit goes down. It's like, oh, we found a new virus. What the you? Well, it's the thing over the thing is like they they up in the wage gap for people that the minimum wage because people were like bitching about who were you paid enough, but anyways, like shit was cheap back then, and they want more money because they're cheap as shit because they don't want to because they want to buy expensive shit like a new truck that runs on like runs out of gas really quickly, or they wanted a huge ass TV that they don't really need, or look at that new gaming system that's like costs like $800 that you don't really need. Like it, it's it's at that point where I have to say we're at a standpoint where everybody doesn't want to don't want to mention that everything's going downhill. We're at the point, the breaking point where everybody's gonna be flipping out over stupid shit, and it's funny watching that, seeing people like freaking out over a. I'm not trying to say like it's like over something huge. Too good is bad. Yes, that's what I'm trying to think. Too good is bad. And then when you get like when something good happens, you always get the shit hand of the stick. Like at the end of the point. Like it's what it is people these days don't want to like to get like where they're at. They don't like that shit's getting too good. So they have to rely on being cheap, like being wanting more, not taking what they got for granted, and and then they'll blame people for their issues and why shit's going downhill. Well, it's not just making up struggle. It's what it is people are just they're so spoiled because their parents like raised them to be like, oh hey, look, hey kids, guess what? You're getting free shit. You get free shit. Where I was like at when I was a kid, I never grew up to have like shit handed to me. I had to work for it or earn it or do something to get it. Where everybody else these days they get it handed to them, so they think if shit gets handed to me, let's get more shit out of it. So saying like if you work a job and you see that person make because they've been working there for years and they're making more than you, they're gonna get pissed because they know that they're making less than the other person, so they're gonna make a big deal, make a fuss, and act like 5-year-olds at the job. The the thing is, same with the the when the COVID happened, like doctors were losing their jobs and nurses over stupid shit because government was like whining, bitching, and moaning because they wanted to take the shot. And then I come to find out the shots that were giving people didn't even freaking work. They're like, oh, that worked. No, we need boosters to make sure it worked even more. It's like, no, I'm good. And then Pfizer, I found out that Pfizer, what they gave everybody for like the first two, the two shots were not even freaking COVID related meds. And I'm like, oh, that's great. That's like, and I'm like wondering what's gonna happen to me over the next few years. If I'm gonna like get some weird disease from it, I don't know, because you don't know with freaking medicine these days. It's basically helping the heart doctors. That's all it's doing. It's not helping out the people any. I'm glad I don't have any heart issues, because if I did, I'd be like flipping out at everybody. But like, thanks for giving me that shit. Well, Pfizer, like Pfizer wasn't give like they were giving out actual COVID. They were just giving out regular random ass shots. Shit. And then they were finding out like later on that people were get the shots they were giving people were even they were basically watered down meds from other medicines, like cold medicines and shit. And I'm laughing about it. I'm like, I'm glad I didn't have that issue. But it's come to the point well, we're getting to that point there when people are just not gonna admit that there's something wrong with this country. Like we're hitting the breaking point of losing money. We have to rely because you can't buy anything new, so you have to like buy a subscription thing membership just to save money on the games you want to buy. Um, and then you don't know if the games that come out with lately don't know if they're worth playing because usually the people that make the games make them super like woke leftist talking points or nobody wants to play them. And it's funny to seeing these companies like, oh, we're losing money, we don't know why. Well, you're losing money because you're acting like you're you're preaching to the left and you're not preaching to the people that are buying your shit. It's hilarious. Like look at Saints Row. Saints Row, the reboot Saints Row, they went broke. Like they're the company is no more. Like the company they had to sell off the company because the reboot didn't make any sales. They're like, oh, we don't know why we're not making any sales. Well, for one, you kind of made fun of the people that bought the original games, the Saint Rose games, and said they're all a bunch of crybabies, and you got stuck with the woke community, and they don't want to play your shit. And it's getting to be the point where People are gonna just say fuck it and not worry about anything anymore. And they're wondering why people are actually getting pissed off at the world. Well, the thing about Steam now lately, I have to say, like, I'm really disappointed in Steam because now they're censoring people and shit. It's like we never had that issue before. Like we never had we and they're doing the same thing with console now with the nudity and shit. Like they're trying to take out nudity in game, like censor nudity. It's like why? It's art. It's not like you're. It's not like people are getting off on this shit. Like not everybody gets off on nudity in gaming. It's just like oh hey boobs, laugh about it and then go on their lives after they've watched it. And it's hilarious watching these people freak out. It's like oh think about the kids. Well, why did you buy it for your kids? What the you should not buy shit for your kids, like games for your kids, if it's not rated for them. But retard logic. They think, oh, it's the new wave of everything. It's like no, you're just making people hate playing games because you have to censor everything. Like not everybody should set. They shouldn't censor some games because what you call it, little Timmy didn't get his little Jimmy didn't get his freaking get what he wanted. It's so it just mind boggles me when I see people do that shit. It's like, oh, they're not that bad. It's like, yeah, people are that bad now. Where they expect somebody to buy them shit. And then they're like, oh, well, we weren't planning that issue. Oh yeah, I saw that. They went Leisure Suit Larry went PG uh, on the last game because oh shit, what the fuck I was just, oh because the game before that was making fun of Tinder the not Tinder people TikTok people and they got pissed about it and like they bumped it down. I'm like Leisure Suit Larry is adult was adult comedy game click and pick, click adventure, point click adventure, and they turned it into a kids game. Like what the fuck? It's not funny anymore when you turn it into a kids game. Like you made the game just lame as it is. It's like oh we needed to make it a little bit less funny. Well, the thing was like I remember playing Leadership Suit Larry as a kid. Like I admit it. I used to sneak in and play that game because it used to be a free download for Windows and shit. Because like at the time, Microsoft was partners with the company that made that game. so, so they used to have downloads for like for 1, 2, and 3. They made 4 and they banned it. Yeah, it was a DOS only, but listen, um, Windows bought DOS like I forgot what. Oh, it was 98 when they bought DOS. When they came out Windows 98, and that came Leisure Suit Larry came with like one of the updates for Windows 98 because it was like a free download if anybody uses it. So I enjoyed that game when it came out because I was like, oh, cool, free up, free game that kid. Didn't know what the game was. For I was joking around playing it. The next minute, I found titties. It's like, oh look, titties. Well, the like all these games that I've been seeing, like I used to know they're adult games, are now turning into kids games. I'm like, no. Like Call of Duty, that's another one I remember playing as growing up as like a teenager playing Call of Duty. That was like the amateur rating game. Now it's like slowly turning into a teen game. I'm like, why? Like I miss seeing like body parts like splatter in a game when I used to play Call of Duty because that was like the fun thing. Another one, another game I can think of that really went downhill was Battlefield. Like Battlefield used to be like the well-known game to have like violence and shit and it, gore and buildings getting blown up and shit. And you look at it now, it's like it's it's not Battlefield anymore. I, I it's like hitting 35 and watching all this shit, like all the shit I remember as a teen and as a kid. You look at it now, it's I laugh about it because it's like shit. Watching it now, watching the shit I seen before when I was a kid and seeing it now, like gaming now, it's like wow, they actually don't care about they they're more they don't care about the people that actually play the games and shit. They they think that kids are gonna like they should worry about the kids. The kid the thing is they should be yelling like the parents should be blamed for the them playing the games and shit. Not have the gamers suffer for shit that what parents do with their kids. Like the thing is, like the reason why it's gone downhill, this country's gone downhill, is like the parenting is like so subpar than what I remember growing up. Like when I was a kid, I used to make sure that like we used to go home when it was like when the lights were turning on at midnight. We didn't give a crap about pain. I never gave a crap about pain. I'm in between a millennial and a Gen X, and it's funny. Oh, sorry, my bad. Um, the thing is like, what the fuck? The thing is with people these days, um, the the situation with kids these days that they're so they never got taught the walk it off, shake it off, or told them to go to bed, or tell them that that what you see on social media is not always true, or the news is not always are smart enough to tell their kids like whatever you hear on the news, half of it's not even true. It's so I feel sorry for the next generation because the next generation is going to go downhill. And well, it's not just that the flashing in the games. It's all these new shit that they pull out like trippy worlds and shit. It is. No, the thing is like they people these days don't they baby their kids too much, and that's what it is. Like when you baby your kids too much, your kids are not going to be turning out perfect. They're going to be so fucked up in the head that they think everybody's going to rely on them for everything, or have people rely on them for everything. It's like no, you when you grow up, you should. Well, when your kid, if you have kids, you tell your kids like something. You tell them, be honest with them. Tell them that like, hey, maybe you should do something different with your life instead of. It's yeah. I feel sorry for the next generation because they're not gonna know how to handle life. They're gonna they're gonna expect everybody else to do stuff for them instead of them doing it doing it themselves. It's gonna be sad seeing people like as the years go on, we're gonna see people like can't handle life because they're so fragile. That's what I'm trying to say. They're so fragile on everything. They have to have they have to have people looking through books now, like sensitivity book reading. I'm like, that's a thing, sensitivity book reading. Like, you have to have somebody read read to see if it's sensitive. It's so funny. You have to read because for somebody that's probably going to be sensitive over a word. Now, I don't blame Brokeback Mountain. I blame, you know what movie I blame was that one that freaking what the hell is that fat ass bastard there that made documentaries? Oh fuck, what the hell is his name? Oh shit. Trying to remember his name. It's like Michael something. Mike something. No, was it Mike? I don't remember. What he was like a Canadian doing documentaries and shit. Well, anyways, he was saying like when he was doing a documentary, he was talking to his grandparents and shit. He goes, "Why can't Canada be like? Why can U.S. be like Canada?" It's like, and it's like it. They gave him an answer. They said, "Well, U.S. isn't bad. There's nothing wrong with the U.S." And, and he got all pissed off, like he got all like butthurt because like Canadians like I'd rather live over in the U.S. than I do in Canada because they got more freedom than us. And I'm like, yeah, like they just said it right in front of you. We got more freedom than Canada, and you're butthurt because the U.S. has more intelligent people than and Canadians got more intelligent people than that person that's making a documentary. Shit, what the hell is his name? Fuck. He looks like Rosie O'Donnell, but with like he's like a man version of Rosie O'Donnell. I can't remember his name. And it was funny because how he was like when he was doing the documentary, like everybody was saying like, "Wow, the U.S. has more freedom than Canada," and he got all butthurt, and that's why I blame it on. It's the people that make these stupid documentaries on shitting on America and shit, and, and we're laughing at them because they don't understand that they got more freedom in America than they do in Canada. It boggles my mind that we have stupid freaking people freaking out over stupid shit. And they don't want to admit, like, America has it better than than any other country. Like, if you look at Russia, well, no, I can't say shit about Russia anymore because Russia is slowly going conservative, and it's funny that like it is like at some level because our country is slowly turning into a communist country, and while the communist people are trying to turn it into like a freaking capitalist country. It's like how we're going ass backwards, or like the people in Russia are changing their ways. That does not make sense. It's like, wow, look at Russia. It's got better. They're doing better than us. But we don't want to admit that shit because if we admit that shit, that Russia's doing better than freaking America, it's like we're gonna get turned like we're gonna get like ousted out of social media and shit. It's like, and then the funny part, another funny thing that nobody brings up, the Ukraine, like after like a few years, like they're admitting like Ukraine is not doing too good. That they make it out to be like, um, let me how to phrase this. They don't they didn't tell the truth, saying like that they have enough army military people. They have nobody left in the military. Like Russia wiped pretty much out everybody in the military. So they want us to go to war for them. Well, it's not Russia that's the problem. It's Ukraine's the problem. Like Ukraine wants Russia, like part of Russia, and it's the area that what you call it Zelensky used to live in. Zelensky's hometown. That's the only reason why they're having a war against Russia, because Zelensky wants to take over his hometown, and everybody laughed about it because they were picking on Zelensky one day. And I'm surprised Zelensky's not in handcuffs. You don't see Joe Biden joining with him for money laundering and shit. That they proved it on freaking on the news that he was money laundering, and they're like trying to make it up, be like, oh, he's not that's not true. Even though they got the proof of like people talking about on the news, like the government shit. It's like, yeah, he's corrupt. And then they changed it the next day about Trump. They're like, Trump this, Trump that. And I'm like, I don't know. Zelensky should be more looked at than it. Biden should be looked at more than Trump because what I'm seeing lately is not a good look. And you know nothing's gonna happen to these guys because they're so rich and powerful that they can just call somebody up and change change and switch a hat, just like Joe Biden did with when they had shit against his son. Well, he had not just billions, he had trillions of dollars from China, Russia, and Ukraine for all the business dealings that him and Hunter did back in the day. And it was hilarious because they had proof of that shit, and like everybody was like, "Oh, it's not cool, man. That's not true, man." It's like, what's not true? That he had offshore accounts pointing. They were pointing that he had offshore accounts, showing that he spent millions of dollars to people that should never had it. That's just raising red flags there. No, they tracked the Ukraine money too. Somebody had to go investigate the Ukraine money that was coming into the U.S. and most of it was from offshore deals with Joe Biden and what's his face, bitch boy. And what happened was, what happened was they like I forgot what happened. Like the deal went south or some stupid shit, and they couldn't sell it. Or I don't remember what happened, but they had there was payments like going out like crazy, and they were wondering why they were getting all these payments for stuff that was coming out like out of nowhere. Like Joe Biden spent I have to say like close to 200 billion dollars on Ukraine, even though they paid him more than just 200 billion. And people don't want to wonder why we're going broke. Well, we're going broke because we got an idiot president that's giving away money like it's candy. Like, oh, don't worry about that. We're not telling that we gave out more money every day. Like it wasn't just one time deal. It was going every day. He was going to the Ukraine, giving out money, and not telling anybody about what's going on. He's like, oh, I'm just giving you more money. It's like, why are you giving away people's money if you can't even make it yourself? And that's it's all the taxpayers' money is going downhill because our one president has to keep giving money away so they won't have bad blood with Zelensky. Yeah, big head and all the other ones is basically what they're doing is every year they have like this little sit down shit. Like, well, not every year, every month they have a sit down, and then they try to deny it after when it does go down. Like people find out that Zelensky was here, and they don't tell anybody on the news that Zelensky was hanging over in the U.S. They just find out like months later after shit goes down. They're like, oh well, Zelensky just came down here to see to ask for more money. It's like, well, why did you give him more money? What the fuck? Like he didn't do shit. And then they bring up the fact that he helped like one time, and that was because the pullout Iraq. Not this pullout, but the one with they were hunting for Bin Laden. They had to get or have backup because after they killed Bin Laden, there was like people hunting him down. By the way, Bin Laden used to live in the U.S. at one point, going to school like college and shit, and he was like an informant for the CIA. So he that's one thing that I just don't get that boggles my mind. Like they don't want to mention that he used to tell the CIA what's going on. And then after like all that shit that happened, they're like, "Oh, here's the fall guy. We're gonna use him as fall guy." And he had to have his brother. They had to have his brother, Bin Laden's brother, to fucking help him out. And it's pretty sad that his own freaking brother had to send his own people just to help him find Bin Laden. It's like basically I'm saying like his family just stabbed him in the back for so they don't get in trouble. Like they don't have to be like to be in the like the same. They don't want to be in the same boat as him. So they pretty much he pretty much screwed his family screwed him over. And it's hilarious to see Bin Laden's family like screw him over. Well, it's not just ops gone wrong. It's because the thing was the reason why they had Bin Laden doing op doing ops for uh, information on people was because they were trying to go after Saddam. Like at that time, like Saddam was like the reigning power of Iraq, and he used to be like the go to guy, the know it all guy of what was going on in the Middle East and shit. And that point, they used him for a few years for intel, and they're like, "Oh, we don't have any use for him anymore." And they used up the excuse that he was the fall. They used him as the fall guy, so basically, it's like to save his ass. Well, the government's ass, not his ass. And I forgot what happened with the government and shit. Like it went downhill big time. Like everybody lost their shit, and they were gonna use that excuse that he was the bad guy and shit. It the thing was they try to blame Saddam for everything, like the the bombings, everything they try to blame on Saddam. And it's sad to see that they have to blame Saddam for everything. And the the thing is like, yeah, Saddam was an asshole and a rich freaking asshole that did a lot of fucked up shit with his family, but he didn't do anything to us. And they use that excuse, well, Saddam did something to his family, let's do something to him. It's like it wasn't even our issue. It was the Middle East issue, not our issue. But yet again, we have to be stepping in. We have to be world police. It has to be up everybody's ass. And after that issue happened, it was they thought that was going to be the easy freaking case for them that Saddam is going to die out and not show up anywhere after the family killing situation. Um, and and then some out of the blue, we were like, oh, let's go after Saddam again. It's like, and then after they got Saddam and they hung the shit out of him, that's what we thought was. They're like, well, and then they use that excuse, oh, he wasn't a bad guy at before it happened. It's like, well, he was a scumbag, but he wasn't our problem. It was somebody else's problem. But way to go, idiots! Way to start a war. No, what the reason why we had to start a war with Saddam? Because Bush, old man Bush, fucked up on his fucking trade deal with Saddam. Because at the time, what the fuck was it? Oh, that's right. They were going after Fidel Castro, and Saddam hit him over Iraq for one point because Fidel. I don't know how to say this. Like they felt bad for Fidel Castro. That was the first reason why they went after Saddam because Fidel Castro was basically living there for a few years, and then right after Fidel Castro happened, like shit went downhill, basically. And I feel bad for that because with other people out seeing that shit and seeing that, oh, not feel bad for Saddam, but feeling bad for the people that had to put up with this bullshit, Saddam's bullshit. Um, and I feel bad for the the people that had to believe in all the bullshit that the U.S. been spewing about wars and shit. We should go to war for this and that after the Iraq War and shit. That was even our freaking problem. That was even our deal. That was we shouldn't have our nose in that deal, the situation of what was going on. But we keep putting our nose in business in which it belong. And well, not our business, like the government. I mean, like we, the government. Government keeps bringing up shit from like past history that they shouldn't been bringing up. Like it was none of our business that the Korean War. I think that was bullshit. The Vietnam War. Yeah, they started shit with us, but we made it 10 times worse by sending so many people out in the middle of an area where everybody know where all the hiding spots are at. The enemies knew the hiding spots and killed them one by one until like they gave up. And it didn't help that freaking John McCain gave the position to everybody in the Vietnam War. blamed. We have to thank John McCain for being a traitor to our country. They consider it as him as a hero, even though he betrayed our country by telling where everybody was at. Good old John McCain. And he was going to become a Republican too. That was the funny part. President. And one another thing that bothers me though is we we take things for granted. Yes, we take things for granted, but what bothers me though is we got too many idiots that that love to that love John McCain. It's like really, I can't stand. I couldn't stand John McCain. Like John McCain had so many issues in his story. Like he was saying, "Oh, I was tortured." If you're tortured, they tortured you for a position. Just should just like every other soldier used to do. Like what they used to do, so they won't trade. Do something to like end yourself on that one. If you're gonna, I would say end yourself, but not when you get caught. Try to make up shit or something. Not so you can get the enemies the intel on what was going on. Like John McCain was the worthless wine ass of all time. I could actually say, you know what's Spittle, you know what's funny? That we have to thank cancer for beating John McCain's ass. He's the true hero. The John McCain. Oh shit. The cancer is our true hero more than John McCain was. Oh shit. I know that's fucked up, but it's funny at the same time. Another thing that makes me laugh too is John McCain's daughter. Oh my god, she thinks she's Miss Know It All and she's better than everybody else. It's like, why do you act like you're better than everybody else? Like like you you know that your father was like a big traitor in the country. You were on the View for talking shit about everybody, and then you try to run for governor, and everybody like laughed at you for in New York. She was like, "Yeah, that's a funny thing. John McCain's daughter would try to be a Republican governor for New York, right?" And everyone laughed at her because she her talking points is so retarded. Like, um, here's an example. She blamed everybody for her family's issues, and she blamed the U.S. citizens that are the reason why they didn't like her father. It was everybody's fault that nobody liked her father. It's like, and she don't realize like her father is the was like the most retarded person of all time. It and it's hilarious. It's like watching two special ed kids having a debate when you see her involved. and she doesn't understand why people laugh at her when she says, "Oh, I'm gonna become governor, the next governor," or some stupid shit. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that. But whatever, you do you, boo. And she got pissed because everybody laughs at her. She's like, I don't know why everybody's laughing at me. It's like, well, everybody's laughing at you because you're a worthless piece of shit. She, like, let's see here. You brought up AOC. Like, AOC, laughing about AOC. She doesn't want to admit that she fucked over millions of people's lives when they try to get Amazon. Like Amazon at one point, Amazon was going to move to New York because California was going downhill, and she fucked that up royally. I never saw a person fuck up more than her. She she took the cake on that one. Um, the funny thing I ever saw at AOC was when she tried to say that she was Miss Innocent and shit when the shit hit the fan, and everybody was like, "We lost jobs because of you." Like they actually like Amazon closed up shop, but I can't say shit now about that because look at Amazon now; they're not doing too well. Well, they're doing well on online shopping, but their streaming services are shit. The music, the music that they were starting to run is going downhill. The whatever the Amazon Music shit that they thought was going to be the next big thing turned out to be the shittiest thing ever, and now they're regretting on doing that shit, and it's hilarious now since after they they brought it out, they're like, well, I don't know what to do now with Amazon. Well, because the music business, the Amazon Music went downhill and everything else, and it's like, and I'm like, well, you're the one that started that shit. With the we have to be just like YouTube and Spotify, and and it's hilarious when they're like, we're losing money. It's like, well, get rid of well, Amazon Music, get rid of all the other shit, you'll be fine. Like they had to get rid of Twitch. That was another thing. They had to get rid of Twitch because they were going broke. And they got rid of Twitch. So now Twitch is no longer Amazon. Now they gotta find a new Twitch needs a new company to take over. It used to be well, first it was when it first came out. Twitch was owned by I'm trying to remember now. AOL. Then what you call it made a deal with Amazon because AOL was going broke, going bankrupt over their. They got sued for the American Online thing with the somebody went when they had the when AOL had the chat the live stream chat rooms shit, and I guess like one of the owners, one of the workers there were doing, let's see, let's see, was how to put this so YouTube won't ban my channel. Having a live stream nude session, uh, uh, nude art, as we should say, with an 18-year-old. That was one of the managers of, let's see, I'm trying to fucking the not Twitch, Twitter's old CEO, not Jack Dorsey, but the other one before Jack Dorsey. Um, his kid. They were doing some weird ass shit, and come to find out, when they found out what was going on, AOL got a lawsuit against the 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 old owner of Twitter, and then Jack Dorsey took the thing over after the guy quit Twitter. Then it was free taking up, and then Amazon bought it like a couple months later, and it became Amazon for I don't know how long. I think it was a short time that Amazon owned it, because it wasn't Amazon till like 2018. So there you go. Now I brushed up the history really well. So yeah, that's how the shit became popular. It was 2018 for Amazon, and then Amazon was losing money, so Twitch was like the new thing that was the first thing to get rid of. Well, I don't remember, but all I know is like they were like they had AOL was involved in it. That's all I remember. Like AOL had their hands in Twitch for like a long time because that was like the main thing what was going on. And what happened was the a lot of shit went downhill during that situation. So Amazon bought it off their hands. The save grace on losing money because they didn't want to. If they lost the lawsuit, they would have lost everything. So yeah, they got the shit, and that's how that happened. And Amazon bought it. They changed it up a little bit. They made it a little bit better than what they had it before. And then like a few years later, they went woke. And then Jeff Bezos was like, "Oh well, they they were like they Jeff Bezos was like, "Oh, we gotta dumb it down for people because people are getting too spurgy for this content and shit for the gaming content." And then um like like this year they were pitching about Nazi stuff in video the Nazi stuff in video games like Wolfenstein and shit like that. And I was like, well, I guess I'm not gonna be doing live streams with them for a little bit. Because the games I was playing was Wolfenstein and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that'd be a bad situation for me if I did live streams with video games with Wolfenstein, because most of that shit has like the bad guys. You're fighting Nazis though, but like there's like Nazi flags, Nazi symbols, and on guns and shit. It's like it makes me look bad if I was playing that game on Twitch. Even though I'm killing Nazis, still doesn't help the cause that there's a game that fights Nazis with with when you're using weapons that are part of Nazis. Well, it's not just that. It was the thing was like the oh it was the the they were bringing up they were finding new people from the Holocaust. I'm like holy crap. They're bringing up shit like people that are mostly like most of the Holocaust people are dead already. Like, but they're like finding new people to say that they were part of the Holocaust. And I'm like, wait a minute. Most of the people in the Holocaust were like from the 50s and early 90s and shit. Like, well, the 50s, well, they were the 50s and 40s, but they're in most. Well, let me rearrange chat. The people from the Holocaust were in the 40s and 50s, and then like most of them like died in the 90s from like trauma, like heart trauma and shit, and health issues from like being tortured and shit. And you look and they're somehow like every year they have like more people coming out like saying that they were part of the Holocaust, and I'm like, it doesn't add up there because you're not. The thing is the thing is like people are try to avoid World War II history because there is some parts of World War II history that doesn't add up. Because what happened is um what's I trying to say, like people like the World War II, like I'm looking at the German aspect of it. It was 5 million people that got killed in the Holocaust thing, and, and the Germans admitted it, and what went on? People were like they like the people like the actors and like celebrities and shit keep making up the number after World War II happened. Like, oh, 6 million or 12 million. Like, it's less than the Russian military killed their own people. Like, Russia killed Russia killed like more than just killed like 12 million. Most freaking prisoners and freaking soldiers that refused to fight. So, if they want to say something negative, they should talk about how Russia killed their own people. and and it's so bizarre seeing that shit. I wonder how long it's gonna be till people freak out and shit to see that we're gonna find more about history that nobody was actually honest about. And it's sad that shit, the truth comes out of everything, and everybody doesn't want to admit it. Shit, there was truth about the shit that was going on 9/11. Like, they were saying, like, where's the third plane? There wasn't a third plane. There was only two planes. And, oh yeah, and then the January 6th thing. Like, they made it up like everybody was violent and everything. And then they showed videos of them, like, being peaceful and shit. The only thing that was fighting in the front lines were the people like Antifa and the fake MAGA group, and they actually admit it. Like the next part, there were like there was a camera moment that they were finding out the feds were involved in it in the January 6th because they were trying to act like civilians and shit. I'm like, huh? On the bikes, acting like they were at the protest. I thought that was bullshit. And then after the truth came out, everybody was like, "Oh, we should talk about it now." It's like we should have talked about this shit way before all the other shit happened. And what made me laugh even more is like, "Oh, we never knew this was gonna happen." How the hell you're not gonna know this was gonna happen? And it's funny that we look back on history, we look at back at now after they found out the truth and shit, and you're like, "Well, I didn't know that happened." It's like tell the truth before you make up a story saying that there was people fighting and shit and screaming out shit that was even true. And then they had enough balls to say, "Well, we never thought this was going to happen." And then, well, another thing that really made me laugh was Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and were flying on a helicopter over the January 6th thing, and they were trying to say they were inside the building, even though there was nothing going. They actually showed there was nobody in the building when they went in. They said they were in like the lockdown area in DC where they had their underground thing, and they were showing video footage of nothing. There was nobody hiding in underground in the bunker areas. Tell me that's not full. That's not. There's nothing suspicious going on with that one. And until like they showed a camera of her sitting in a helicopter with Chuck Schumer wearing sunglasses, looking down what's going on. It really ticked me off. Like you're lying to the people, saying that you were at the Capitol, even though you weren't there. And then they had what was another thing they showed up. Oh, it was the one they went to, and um, what happened was the cops were involved in this too. Listen to this. The cops let them in and have them walk around. Like they were like, "Come on in." And Baked Alaska was involved in this sit gay ops too, because him and Nick Fuentes and shit, because they were like letting people in and shit and acting like they were acting like, oh, blah da 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 da. They're like Nick and Baked Alaska are good people. They could do that. And I'm like, think about it, people. Why is Nick Fuentes leaving letting you in the building? Why are they acting so nice to you? They're in it for to get people in trouble. It, it people are too blind to see that these people are big shills. And it's so sad to see people fall for their bullshit. It's like, oh, they're not that bad. It's like, yeah. Why did they lie to the people? Say that it's sad that we have so many idiots that fall for these people. They're like, oh, they're such good people, you know. Good people, my ass. You don't see freaking. And after that incident, when Baked Alaska was starting to tell the the FBI that Nick was involved with him, they were like, he was Nick was threatening him like, oh, I'm gonna sue you and shit like that after they got caught doing a bunch of fucked up shit. And it's hilarious to see all these people after a few months after that get caught doing weird ass shit like, and then you got then like it's not even that worse than what other YouTubers did with like Boogie with the shit try to get people to do the what was it, that scam there the bit the what was it the it was like a knockoff of Bitcoin and shit, and him and Tom Brady and all of them were trying to get out of the middle of the action. They're like, vote, get this thing going. And it's like, you know that it's a scam, right? Like, Like, really, guys, you're falling for the shit. Like, and then you have fat boy Buggy going, "Oh, it's not true, guys. It's not a scam. Believe me. Believe my fat boys." You're never gonna see. Well, the thing was like, Buggy was like try to start the Bitcoin, the crypto scam and shit, and then they're like, well, right after the Bitcoin scam, like everybody like freaked out and shit. Like, it's not real. It's not a real thing, guys. Well, no shit. You're the ones that fell for the fucking thing. And they took all your money, and I'm laughing at you guys. Like, they had they would have done better if they were actually paying attention to what they did. The people would have been scammed out of their own money if they didn't do stupid shit. And their problem was they believed in too many idiots, pulling too many scams, and it got to be the point where like they were like, "Oh my god, we got it, we can't believe this happened." It's like you can't believe you got scammed out of your own money because two idiots made you think that that crypto shit was gonna work. It's funny how Tom Brady lost his wife over that shit. Like, she kicked his ass to the curb after that shit happened. He was like, it was hilarious after that shit happened. Like, everybody had like something bad happen to him afterwards after that freaking scam happened. The guy that scammed the guy got caught actually admitted that he did the scam. And then no, what was it? Another thing happened was Boogie had lost viewers, lost followers and shit. And then what else happened? Um, shit, that was like one hilarious meltdown of all time. Well, well, I can say Tom Brady is not dumb. He just he just never thought it through with the idea of screwing people over. And yeah, he wasn't too confident what he did. And then was it a few months after that, like they found out that was all a scam. People were like suing and trying to get their money back, and it never happened. Well, he wasn't the only one. Buggy and him weren't the only one. Well, Jake Paul was in on it. A few other people were in on that shit. Um, and it was hilarious. Like Jake and Logan Paul got like chewed out for that shit. It was like the most funniest shit ever. Oh yeah, Kevin Hart was in on that scam too. I forgot about that. Remember that now. That's why I say I don't trust people that go, "Hey, like Joseph Watson, like with his Paul Watson with his like, hey, come make me money by doing some advertising, try to tell people that having your becoming a sir by buying land is like gonna be the top thing, and it's like, no, just no. You're not gonna be knighted by buying a piece of land. That's just some bullshit that people are saying. And if people fall for that shit, it's like, oh, we're gonna get land. We're gonna get be knighted if we buy land. It's like, no, that's not how it works, people. Like, yeah, before you become a sir, you gotta be like knighted and shit. You gotta find somebody that's royal and shit. Not a lot of people are royal around, like people around here that are still alive that are part of royalty. Like that's a duchess or something else. And what makes me laugh the most, like people are like, oh, does that mean that I'm gonna be royal when I talk to somebody that's rich or that's related to somebody that's rich? It's like, no. Well, the thing is, like, the people today, they think everybody's gonna like give them free, like, it's gonna knight them and shit, and make them to be having the surname. It's like, no, just stop. Why would you want that shit in your life? That means like you're loyal to whoever you are. You're basically having the surname. You're basically somebody's bitch if you're trying to be knighted in. It's just saying that you're basically part. You're basically the. Let me say how to put this in mob phrasing. You were made man for that one person, and you have to kiss that ass. I don't think anybody would be kissing ass for that person. If they are, I'm wrong. But I never seen somebody kiss ass for to be popular. And it's funny. It's hilarious watching these idiots like, oh hey, feel sorry for me for something stupid. It's like, no, I don't feel sorry for you. You paid for something that was really stupidly done. I have my name. I'm a knighted now. Just gonna I guess I'm gonna go be some asshole acting like I'm like some king's bitch. It's like, no, just stop. People don't know that shit. Like, you're basically like when you get knighted in, you basically have to like obey the king and queen shit basically for the rest of their life. Well, well, listen to this. Templars were chosen. They weren't like knights back in the day where you can just walk in and say you're a knight. You were chosen to be a Templar. Like you had to be the holy roller of going to church and shit. You had to kiss that well you had to kiss drink that wine and eat that cracker and kiss that golden ring if you wanted to be a Templar. Knights back then, you could just walk in and say, "Hey, I'm a knight." They're like, "Cool, you're not that great." And Templar back in the day, actually, Templars were douchebags because they wanted that money, they wanted that bread. If they wanted that bread, they'd do anything to get that bread. Like blaming people for their issues. They didn't know how to, like, back in the medieval days. They knew how to run a country, but they didn't know how to keep idiots out of the country. You know what I'm saying? The the problem with back in the day, they were so relying on stupid people to fight in a war that didn't make sense. People still blame William Wallace for fighting for his right to for freedom. Like like let me see. Let me say this: would you want to pay tax, freedom tax, pay to have your freedom, then live your freedom? That's how Scotland was going on for it. Like England was paying making Scotland pay for freedom, and people were like, why the Scottish are so pissed off? It was like they made them pay for freedom. Like you didn't have shit back in the day. Like you have it have it good like you have it now. Like fucking Scottish people were so shit on back in the day that nobody trusted anybody. And now you got people thinking that they have it bad, but when you look at back then, Scotland had it worse than America. I'm live again? What the fuck? Wow, that was weird. Alright, I'm back live. I didn't even do anything. Alright. Like I was saying, like Scotland had it worse than America. Like Scotland had a fight to get their freedom. Like America had freedom. Like and and now that people are acting like they had it bad. Yeah, that's what it is, Spittle. They're it's because they're spoiled on capitalism. Now they're gonna bitch about something. And it's hilarious seeing what I learned about nowadays. What people make it out to be like they have it bad, but if you look at it now, you're like, how we have it bad in Scotland? Like Scotland had it way worse than us, and they had English people, like people from England, sleep, sleeping with their married, like when people got married in Scotland, the English had to come down and sleep with their wives. Why? Because the English wanted to be involved in everything. Because they're little fags. Well, can't say fags, but I did anyways. Sorry, YouTube. I'm just like out. I'm like having a moment here. Um, it's because it's trying to look back at it now at history. We didn't have it bad that they made it out to be. Like we were like spoiled, and no, everybody uses that what you call it. We're a slave because Christopher Columbus made everybody a slave. No, that was a bullshit lie. He was the first one that traveled around the world. See if the world was round. He got a bet from this Queen of Spain that he would travel around the world to see if the world was round. Yes, the Irish did have it worse. We were the Irish was slaves all the way up to like the 1960s. And nobody mentioned that in like history. Like nobody wants to admit that in history. Like the Irish were slaves until the 60s. They used to like back in the day they were like people that couldn't afford like to buy housing. They used them as indentured slaves, like indentured whatever, indentured servants. And they're like and I'm like, yeah, that's a slave. You just mentioned that freaking what you call it were slaves, and you don't want to admit that they were slaves back in the day. And what makes me laugh the most is we got so many idiots out there that believe in that in that woke bull BS that the government's like not the government but the woke people spewed out. Well, that was Texas. I'm talking about like all the way around. Like people didn't know that Mice and Men was based on like the 60s and shit, like late 50s, early 60s with the Irish slavery shit. They're like, oh, that's they weren't that bad. They weren't that bad to the Irish. I'm like, huh? Are you on the crink? Are you smoking that the special sauce? That's how I want to say ask those people. Like, are you smoking the special sauce? The Irish, they made it up to be like the Irish were treated so well in history. It's like, no, they weren't. John F. Kennedy was like the only reason why they were treated a little bit different when John F. Kennedy showed up. They were like, yeah, they were almost white. We gotta admit that they were almost white. And then they were like, after like that happened, they're like, well, they weren't that bad. They weren't that bad to the Irish people, and it's like, huh? What crack did you smoke? It's funny looking back at it now. The people that talk shit about saying that they didn't, that the Irish didn't have it that bad. You just like, okay, the Irish didn't have it that bad. Explain why they didn't have it that bad. But they can't. You know why? Because if they can't explain it because they weren't born in the early days. The they were born in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, so they think everything was simple because they heard from some crazy person that they talked to us saying they weren't that bad. But you know what? We have to deal with those idiots day by day by day. So if you say something, you be like you be honest with them. They start crying and shit. They have like a nervous breakdown if you say something that's honest. Knowing what I know in history nowadays, I don't know why I'm like still amazed that we have so many people that not that intelligent. Well, it doesn't just hurt; it just makes them feel stupid because they're so used to having going in the freaking liberal arts and going and getting taught by a libtard saying that oh that's not true. It's a different story than what you guys been told back in the day. It's like oh so so you're saying that the truth is not true. That's what you're trying to say. They're a liberal professor because you're telling people to say that shit's not true in history. Well, it's not that. It's they change the storyline as people get older. They change the storyline so they don't get so so they don't offend anybody. It's like you want to hear the real truth, then talk to to the people that were born in that era it, before you talk to a professor, because people that lived that shit, like Germany, like my great grandfather was a general in World War I, and his brother was my great grandfather was a general, 2-star general in World War I in Germany. And my great grandfather's brother was a 1-star general in World War II, and it's I met him and he's fucking crazy. I'm surprised he didn't die. Anyways, going on the story, they were both German soldiers and they knew all the shit that went on. And the funny part, World War I, the Germans weren't that bad until World War II. What happened was freaking America were allies with Germany until freaking somebody in the government tried to say that, oh hey, wait a minute, the British had it bad, even though they started the war. What? How they started the war? Over a fucking hot air balloon. A hot air balloon. What the fuck was that about? Them dropping shit, throwing shit at the Germans in a hot air balloon. It, well, the Dutch, the Dutch, that story. Well, that, the thing is, the Dutch, that history changed right after what you call it, the after the second, was it the second royal family in over over in Dutchland and Dutchland. I forget the name of it. And reason why that happened was because the royal fam the Dutch royal family was they're slowly losing air. Like the Queen of England, like the people in England, like the Queen of England and shit like that, because they wouldn't step down over power. Reason why they didn't want to step down in power because it they were so used to being bowed down because of you know they love free shit. And after that free shit ended, their fucking business went downhill. And now all that shit with the Dutch people, they have to rely on freaking Germany now for everything. It's funny how somebody that used to be in power, like Dutch and Germany were like the powerhouses of everything because the reason why because they used to work together. That's why they were so much of a powerhouse until like after World War II when Germany lost all that shit. That's when they stopped being like so powerful. Like Russia got a part of German's pie. And what else? Dutch lost half of their resources due to uh, due to the war because they were part of the Nazi regime and they had to change positions because most of the people were gonna get killed if they were still doing the Nazi salute or or thinking the Nazi way. It's so funny seeing that shit, like seeing history as like one big pile of shit. Nobody wants to admit that there was a problem in history. No one wants to admit that history had some good points. History had the reason why history, the people in history, why we learn a lot, learn from our mistakes in history. Well, we don't really learn any mistakes because look at America now. We got an idiot for a president, even though a long time ago when what you call it was Jimmy Carter was alive and he was president, he fucked everybody over. And we're reliving the Jimmy Carter moments, but without Jimmy Carter, it's freaking Joe Biden. And it's funny that like I'm comparing Jimmy Carter to Joe Biden because he did the same shit with everybody else. And then the funny part too is like everybody shits on Donald Trump, and we didn't have any wars. We didn't have we didn't have any of the shit that went on when Donald Trump was in office. We didn't have to worry about losing jobs. And we look at it now and it's like What the fuck are we? Why do we? Why are we fucking reliving the 50s again? We're living the 50s and 60s again because we're going to like Depression 2.0, and nobody wants to admit it that we're going Depression 2.0. Only ones that want to admit it are like the old timers. Like, look, we're going to a depression. Look at that, Martha. And it's funny how I'm just picking using random names when I'm thinking about the 60s, 50s, and people are like, "Oh, that's not gonna happen. We're never gonna be on a depression in a depression again." And look at it now. We're on that verge of depression. Reason why we're losing money and shit because we got a president that's spending money on stupid shit. We're giving money away like it's water. Hold on. Oh shit. Oh no. Sorry. Like I'm saying, like we 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 don't we don't rely on ourselves. We rely on the government more than anything else. And the government's the ones fucking up. And I don't know how to say it, but we got retarded people for government issues. Nobody wants to admit that we have too many dumb people running in office, and it's come to the point where we have to worry about everything. Like, what's our next meal gonna be, or are we gonna survive on this new fucked up way of living? We rely on so many stupid people these days. It's pretty sad. It's like, oh hey, don't worry, we're gonna be okay. It's like, no, we're not. We're not okay. We're so in the shitter that we have to rely on stupid shit. Everybody doesn't want to admit it that we're going in tough times. They're like, oh, we're doing okay. People are on YouTube doing their shit. People on YouTube are struggling. Content creators and everything. Cause same with the people from. Let me see. Let me try to say it. The people that were doing the people that were doing the what you call it, the content creating thing, the from Twitch, they got screwed out of their own deal. They were getting paid. They were getting their money reduced for all the hard work they put it, like people put in for their channels and shit. They got what they got paid 50% less than what they were getting paid in revenue, because freaking Twitch and YouTube are like, oh, we gotta be cheap now because We don't want people knowing that we gave money away to other people. And then another thing that really ticks me off, yeah, the farming too. The farming is another reason that people are losing money. And like, they're forcing farmers to like destroy their crops and shit, so the government can supporting them and shit. What the hell is wrong with these people that want to listen to it? It's like, oh, let's destroy. Why do you want to destroy your crops? You're still gotta feed your family. You still gotta feed. You gotta feed your family and everything else. Why would you listen to what the government has to say? Well, we're getting paid by the government. Well, shouldn't you be worried about what you listen to, what you do with your government, what your government tells you to do? Should you be like thinking something different, like something's off here, that your government is like trying to make you fail, like make you set up to fail, basically. They're not making you set up to win, they're making you set up to fail. If they're making you destroy crops and shit. Am I wrong for saying that? Being honest with that, with you saying that in a live stream, for saying that the government is basically screwing farmers out to be. I don't know. I just have to say it because it's true. Like, they actually make their farmers set up to fail, and it's sad seeing that way, knowing that way, knowing that our own government is fucking over people, but we don't say anything. We don't want to say anything because it would probably hurt the whoever's in charge feelings. Well, what was it? A month ago, a guy was on the news because he was talking about how he had to destroy his milk supply after he had like whatever their limit, whatever they produce milk. And I'm like, that's stupid. Do you want to save some for your family? You know your family needs it too, not just what the government needs. So instead of destroying it, you should just saved it and gave it to your family so you can keep them healthy and shit. But no, 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 no. We have to do what the government says, or we lose money. That shouldn't have to be. You know what? I know it's full of bullshit. Another thing that pisses me off. I know, like, I'm gonna get slapped from this for calling calling freaking YouTubers out. Is freaking that blew up? That fucking piece of shit. Um. Oh, playing as I'm playing because I'm looking at the screen of the gameplay. Um. The thing is, too, is like I have to call out Steven Crowder. Um. Freaking Russell Brand and all the other ones because they're, oh yeah, and freaking Ben Shapiro for being shills, like being try to act like they're conservative and shit. They're not conservative. They're they're not. It's funny because Crowder sometimes acts like a fucking liberal when he doesn't get his own way. He wears freaking women's clothing, and he acts like he's And he acts like he's Mr. Big Shot, even though he got called out for his bullshit. What he get called out on his bullshit about? Like you're gonna ask me? Is he got caught lying about the deal he made with some company. It wasn't even true. Like the story wasn't even true. The story didn't pan out right. And he what did he do? He he because he was trying to find a new sponsor for his for Steven Crowder and for the Steven Crowder show, and the because he was involved with forgot the name of the Blaze TV. That's what it was, Blaze TV. And he was whining about how he wasn't popular, he wasn't that popular anymore like he used to be after Blaze TV told him to fuck off because he was making up stories saying that he wasn't getting paid enough. The company that he was looking for wasn't paying him enough, and that was full baloney. And what happened next was when he got to he wanted the offer that they were gonna ask him for, and he got ripped off. And they told him no, and that's what happened with that deal. And he goes, oh, and he acted like a liberal the whole time when he got caught with his bullshit, and it was hilarious. He goes, I don't act like a liberal. I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, you are. What's another one that acts like a liberal that does that? He acts like he's like a conservative, but he's actually liberal. It's Razor Fist. He's another one that like acts like he's oh I'm a conservative. I voted for Trump and shit like that. And you're finding out like nowadays, like all of his tweets and shit, that he's like more of a liberal than he is a conservative. Russell Brand is not even really a conservative, and he acts like one. He's like, "Oh, got talking points there. It makes me a conservative." It's like, no, it makes you a dumbass. But it feels good calling people a dumbass when call them out for being a dumbass. What's gonna happen next? I don't know. But all got to say is this country is headed for a disaster. Watching watching all this shit go down, it's hilarious. And why I say it's hilarious watching all this shit, all these people be idiots and lose a lot of money. They think they're better. That they think they're so royal good two, goody two shoes. It's because you guys, because these guys relied on Democrats too much. That didn't know that they were getting screwed out of their own problem. Keep voting blue, no matter what. People are finding out now that voting blue doesn't work. And I don't forget that the the YouTubers that act like they voted for conservative, like, oh, do the feel sorry for me guys. It's like, no, I don't feel sorry for you because you lied to the people saying that you were conservative, and then you had like these off was it these off moments that you don't want to mention on YouTube, that you were spoiled trying to look for money for, because you didn't trust YouTube for their money making ideas, that you had to screw over so many people. But you know these people that they act like they were the victims and shit. It's like, I'm a victim. You're a victim about being stupid. Jeez. I feel sorry for the people that watch their bullshit, and then they go, well, we were victimized and shit like that. It's like, no, you're just a dumbass. What makes me laugh is when they lie to the people and say, "Oh, we're the good guys," we're fighting for your freedom, fighting for your rights, your voice, being your voices, and it's like, no, you're just doing it just for the money. Stop telling people you're helping them out. But what should I know? I'm just a guy on the internet that just that makes fun of the stupidest shit on the planet. Makes me laugh even more was that all these people that believe in these YouTubers and shit, like, oh, we're not that bad. I don't know what to say, like what else to say, but it's sad to see that our country has too many trusted idiots. It's funny watching these people like lose their shit after they like, oh, I trusted this person, and now he's laughing at us as after the years go by. Well, blame no. I blame. I don't blame all women. I blame the feminist movement that did that shit. Because the feminists were the ones that should be blamed, not the women today. Not all women today. I I blame the feminist movement, the feminist people that started that voting shit for women. Not being a misogynist, I'm being honest with this thing, because the reason the reason why I blame feminists for reason why women are voting is because they vote for feels and not for what was the right reasons. The truth basically. They don't vote for the truth. They vote for feels. They see a guy that they don't like and they're like, I'm not voting for him because what I heard on the news. It's like, what? Have you seen his history background before you started voting? No. Then then why did you listen to that idiot? And it's hilarious watching these people yet again. Yeah, whatever. All right. And yet again, people are listening to the bull crap and they believe in what they see. I just feel sorry for the aftermath when shit hits the fan. And we'll be sitting here as I'm getting older seeing this shit. And 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 when it does, I'm like, yep. See what happens when you vote for somebody that's not bright. I'm already at that point of laughing at them already because holy crap, it's so hilarious watching Democrats like freaking out now because they found out the people they voted for it's not that smart. They're like, the thing. What's another one there? John Fetterman, another lost cause that people made out to be like he was going to be the go-to character for the go-to guy for the next Democratic seat. Could have find out he was like a brain dead fucking dumbass that started their own shit, and it's sad seeing this guy slowly lose his dignity. And I blame his wife too, because his wife was the one that got him into going to re-election. And what does his wife do? Tells everybody, oh, he's fine. There's nothing wrong with him. And he's sitting there when he's like talking to people, he can't even really say anything. His face is like sagging and crap. He's having a stroke. And it's sad. Anyways, I'm just gonna log out after this. I'm bored. I have nothing else to say. Later, everybody.